If you have been curious about how to use ChatGPT properly and just staying on the sideline and don't really know how to do it, this is the video for you. So please watch this video to the end. What ChatGPT is good for, what are some of the areas in your life, whether that's personal or professional, where can you use ChatGPT. I'm also going to show you how to navigate the different settings in ChatGPT and also help you to set it up properly. So this is totally a beginner's video. We are also going to look at what is the difference between a free plan and a paid plan. Next, we are also going to look at data control. So there's a lot of conversation going around data when you're using AI tools. So we're going to look at that. What does that mean when you're using ChatGPT? And then next, we're going to help you to create an account, and there are some bonus ones, so you have to watch till the end. So let's get started. So I want to go to ChatGPT quickly. So the best way to do this ChatGPT account without signing in, it's just that the ChatGPT will not remember anything. One of the fantastic feature of ChatGPT that it can actually remember different type of conversation that you're doing, so that it can customize the responses for you. So as you can see, you can already do certain things. Say for example, you can say write an email, to a friend about a birthday party. ChatGPT can do that for you. So you don't need to sign up for it. But if you like to sign up for an account, just click on the sign up for free icon at the top right hand corner. There are many options for you to do it. My suggestion is to use a Google account, so it is actually easier. Later I'm going to show you how, what's the difference between the paid and the free plan. So I already have an account. So I am going to use a free account to demo this for you, so that you see exactly what you will be seeing. So let me just update my date of birth. In the beginning, it will ask you some questions. For example, what are you going to use this for? So I'm going to say I'm going to use this for work. If you are using this for school, you can also select that. The reason why this is they're asking this question is to just customize your experience with ChatGPT. Of course, you can also skip. So I'm just going to press next, and I'm going to say I'm going to use this for myself. Okay. Then you will have a quick tour. So I'm going to skip that because I'm going to show all of that for you. Okay, so let's go. So as you can see, now we have a blank slate of ChatGPT, and we've already signed up for an account. But I want to get started with that upgrade option, which is on the the bottom left corner. If you click on upgrade, then you'll get an option. Of course, I'm in Singapore, so I'm seeing this in Singapore dollars. Technically, a plus plan is around 20 US dollars. So if you are in different countries, it will actually show different prices in your local currency. I think when you're starting off, you start off with the free plan. I think that's fine. I think the free plan already gives you all the necessary features and tools for you to use ChatGPT to its full advantage. If you are curious, I don't want to complicate this since this is a beginner video. The only very big difference is resources. So if you have paid plan, ChatGPT will allow for usage of more resources to reply to whatever that you are asking for. So this is quite an important distinction, because if they don't use a lot of resources, then the responses are going to be very basic and preliminary. So it's not going to be very it won't be like an expert. ChatGPT account is already able to access the internet now, even with the free plan. Previously this was not the case. So I would suggest just stick to the free plan for you to start. In many countries, ChatGPT is offering a lot of discounts and privileges. Please check this out. Okay. So how do we start? So this is where, whenever you see this word ask anything, this is where you're going to do prompt. You're going to type a prompt. Say, for example, again, the same prompt, write an email to a friend about a birthday party. And then you can see this is the enter button. You can also dictate a prompt directly to ChatGPT. That will also work. I'm just going to send that in, and then you can see it's giving us a few different options for you to choose from. When you start using ChatGPT, what will happen is it will start looking at your way of your preferences. Yeah, so it's going to try out different things. Here it's given me 2 different tone of voice, which is nice. Yeah, and if you want to use it, you can just copy this and then pop that in a WhatsApp or an email address. Yeah, and send it out to a friend. Let's look at the left-hand corner. Here you have few options. So my suggestion is whenever you're starting with something new, please always use the new chat. So the threading of conversation that you're having with ChatGPT helps us to customize and personalize the responses. And there's also an option for images. Yeah, the free account allows you to create images as well. And then there's also apps. So you can also connect different types of apps, for example, like Canva, Google Drive, OneDrive, and then they can work together. You also have this option called Codex. Yeah, Codex. Yeah, this option called Codex. This is actually for coding. Yeah, so for example, if you want to code a program, an app, this is something that you can do. So I'm going to bring your attention to the left bottom corner where you will actually see your name. So here you can you have many options. You can upgrade your plan, you can personalize, and then you get setting, and then you also have help. So help has lots of information on how to use ChatGPT. But today I'm going to just look at settings. So in the settings, I want to really focus on customizing the experience for you. So because the more information ChatGPT know about you, better. So let's do that. I'm not going to do anything on general. So these are all your own preferences. For example, if you want a dark one, so you can change that there. I'm just going to keep that light. So I'm going to go to personalization. So in the personalization, you have quite a bit of stuff that you can do. First is about the tone of voice. Yeah, the tone of voice of responses. Say, for example, earlier I asked them to write an email. So what is the tone of voice that you want? Do you want it to sound casual? If you're using it for work, maybe you want to make it sound professional. So I'm going to select professional because I'm going to use this for work. You can also look at different types of characteristic. Yeah, so this is a customization on top of your tone of voice. So for example, emoji. So some people may like more emojis, some people will like less. So I don't really like a lot of emojis on my professional emails. So I'm going to leave that there. And then there are many features. For example, whether do you want the more the tone of voice of responses to be warm, enthusiastic, and so on. Whether you want the responses to look like to use headers and listing rather than paragraphs. So these are all just preferences that you can. Here, you can add more information about the behavior, style, and tone preferences if you like. Yeah. Here, next is about you. Yeah. So I would like ChatGPT to address me as Mr. Gold. I'm going to put my occupation as AI trainer. Yeah. So why are we doing this? Because the more information it has, the better it's going to be. So I can also add a bit more information about my interests, value, and preferences. Yeah. So these are some of the things that you can actually look at. If you look at advanced, you will be able to see what are some of the features that you can actually enable and disable. Yeah. For example, web search. If you don't want ChatGPT to do a web search to give you a response, then you can disable this. So what will happen is ChatGPT will use its own training data to reply to you. So I will always suggest to turn this on. And then there are other options, for example, like advanced voice that you can also enable. Customize the experience that you're going to have with ChatGPT. Yeah. So I really want to look at memory. Because this really determines the extensive, how far back ChatGPT needs to go based on your conversations. Then I'm going to go to data control. So here you can see there are many options available for data control. You can see whenever you archive a chat, you can actually go to manage and then you can see your archive chat. Yeah. So if you want to go in archive, and also if you kind of like want to like reset ChatGPT, you can archive all chat. My only reminder here, please don't delete all. So anything, so for example, in Singapore, we have a Personal Data Protection Act. So anything that is covered by the Personal Data Protection Act, so please don't put in. So for example, your customer's name, IC number, maybe medical history, finance, and so on. Yeah. So it's important to remember, especially if you're using ChatGPT for work. Yeah. So do be careful. So I think that's all for the setting. So whenever you want to start a new chat, so you go to new chat, there is also a sidebar that you can close if you would like to have a more working space. And then if you click on here, then the sidebar will open. Yeah. Another cool feature is there's something called a temporary chat. So if you click on temporary chat, you can see the black prompt area, where you type your prompt. So what happens in a temporary chat is whatever conversation that you're having will not be saved in a chat history. Yeah. So if you want to ask something and you don't want ChatGPT to remember it, this is where you can. So if you want to just turn that off, you can just turn that off as well. Yeah. So I'm going to open the sidebar again. Just going back, if you want to go back to your past chat, just click on that. So this is the birthday invitation that we were working on earlier. Before that, I just want to go a bit below. What are some of the settings that you can do here? So first, you can actually copy the responses. You can also provide some feedback to ChatGPT, saying that this is actually a good response. Yeah, you can also share this with others. Say, for example, if you created something, then you click on the share button and then a link is created. And then you can just copy this link and send it to people. The next is also try again. So that means you are not quite happy with the responses that you got. So you want ChatGPT to regenerate again. And then you have the three dots. So in the three dots, you have two things. First, you can ask ChatGPT to read aloud the responses, that it can read that email for you. Or you can also branch into a new chat. So there are, say, maybe some chats that you're having with ChatGPT that you want to go back, revisit again. So if you want to do that, you can actually kind of like rename that chat. So for example, I can say this is a birthday party, say March 2026. This is Peter. Yeah, maybe Peter is my friend, and we are throwing a birthday party for him. So I can rename the chat, so which is quite handy. Yeah. The next, I can also pin the chat so that the chat appears at the top, so you can revisit that. This is really useful, especially you're working on something and you're not quite done yet. Yeah. So that's a nice way to do that. We've also looked at the differences between a paid plan and a free plan, and what's available, and what are some of the things, some customization and settings that you need to do to personalize your experience using ChatGPT for the very first time. You can also select on the plus button, and then you have quite a bit of an option here. There's also a thinking mode where it uses a bit more resources when you type a prompt, it actually replies quickly. But some prompts requires a bit more thinking, so you can select that so that ChatGPT use a bit more resources. There's also deep research is very good. For example, say in marketing, so because I have a company, we will type the prompt, give a lot of information, and ChatGPT will go on the back end, in the background, and start doing this research. Web search is already automatically turned on, but if you enable this, then ChatGPT will check everything online. And then we also have a study and learn canvas. We'll talk about it in another video, I promise. Then you can also use it to quiz, if you want to learn something new. Yeah. So as you can see, there's lots of different features, and ChatGPT is a very, very powerful tool. Whether you're writing an email, planning a birthday party, I think it's a fantastic tool. So if you really like this video, please share this with your friends and family. And if you really enjoyed, and if you found this really useful, please follow us and subscribe to our channel. We are just getting started, so we're going to bring you more of this to make your AI experience as easy and as pleasant and as useful for you. So if you have any comments, please leave it in the comment section. We will reply every comment. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.